All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Vanessa, and I work at the Broad Institute in the greater Boston area. And today I have the genuine pleasure of introducing you to someone truly exceptional. Divina is a bright young lady who's currently in 8th grade, but will be starting her first year of high school in the fall of actually this year. And for the past 4.5 months, I've had the privilege of mentoring her on a fascinating science project, and we've been exploring the nature of reflexes and the nervous system. And from the beginning, her passion on neuroscience and neurology has been very much evident, and she wants to become a neurosurgeon, so you can just imagine her aspirations. And she's learned very complex concepts on a very high speed. And she just has a natural curiosity for scientific knowledge and exploration. So this project was exploring how different amounts of sleep affects reflexes. And she just took ownership of this project from the beginning, designed the experiment, collected the data, and also wrote a paper, a scientific report on her findings, which is something great to be doing at such a young age. She's also Miss President of her class, an active member of debate club, math competition. She's an athlete, does swimming and field hockey, and so many other great things. And she wants to continue doing those when she goes to high school. So please join me in recognizing Divina. And I have no doubt that this project will go well. And yeah, I'm excited to see how it goes. So take it away, Divina.
Hi, my name is Divena R. I'm in 8th grade and I go to Old Saybrook Middle School in Connecticut. My project with my mentor Vanessa is Rest and React, Unraveling Sleep's Impact on Reflexes. Next slide, please. My mentor Vanessa. Vanessa enjoys traveling and mentorship. She graduated from Bryn Mawr College with a bachelor in biology. She works with the Medical and Population Genetics program at the Broad Institute on the Clinical Genome Resource Project. Next slide, please. My motivation to do this project was I want to be a general neurosurgeon, so I found that doing a project regarding neuroscience would work best in terms of my interests. I researched some possible topics, leading me to learn about projects regarding reflexes. I found a way to make testing reflexes fun, so my volunteers enjoy getting tested. I feel like if people enjoy my project and enjoy getting tested rather than just enjoy looking at my research, that's very motivational for me. Next slide. One key aspect to understanding my presentation is understanding the nervous system. The nervous system is like our body's command center that sends and receives signals and messages to keep our body running the way that it does. Our nervous system is made up of the spinal cord, nerves, ganglion, and the brain. The central nervous system is made up of the brain and spinal cord, and the peripheral nervous system is made up of the ganglion and nerves. Next slide. Another aspect to understanding my presentation will be understanding reflexes. So reflexes are quick movements that our body does without giving it thought. When you touch something too cold, like ice, your nerves send a signal to your muscles to pull away immediately. Reflexes are carried out using our nervous system in our body. Nerves in our brain carry signals around your spinal cord to make reflex actions happen quickly without your brain having to analyze the situation, keeping you safe. Reaction time is based off of three things: how people perceive stimuli, how people process stimuli, and their motor agility. In this image, there is an example of a person pulling an apple. So the apple is a stimulus, the eye is the receptor, the brain is doing the decision making, while the spinal reflex arc are creating the response, which is grabbing the apple. Next slide. As I said earlier, Vanessa works with genetics, so she helped me understand the genetics aspect on this. So DRD4 is a protein that stands for dopamine receptor D4. DRD4 produces a protein that receives dopamine signals in the brain. The protein may have variations that affect attention, which may affect perception of stimuli. So DRD4's function in the body is it plays a role in attention and cognitive functions. It can also link to ADHD and addiction. This may affect reflexes by making some people have better attention span, causing them to have sharper reflexes than others. The top panel of this image shows a normal DRD4 gene, and the bottom shows a DRD4 promiscuity gene. And to feel the same amount of good feeling, the bottom example of the gene needs more dopamine than the top one does. Next slide. Before starting, I wanted to research some current findings on sleep's impact of reflexes. So, a study done by Sleep Foundation shows that not sleeping enough or being sleep deprived would impair people's quick reactions to stimuli, causing safety concerns. Another study done by Somology MD shows that sleep deprivation can affect daily activities as much as alcohol consumption does. It is found that increasing sleep duration could help with your reaction time in daily life activities. So, what will I bring to the study? I'm going to do the study in a controlled environment and study effects over a long period of time on the same people with different methods. Next slide. So, my project tests how reflexes are impacted by the amount of sleep that test subjects receive. I hypothesize that hours slept will have an impact on reflexes. I wanted to explore more about how the brain controls the reflexes of your body to overall learn more about neurons and their relation to reflexes. Next slide. This is my study design. So first, I really wanted to define the goals of my project and see where I wanted to go with this. And then obviously I need to gain an understanding on neurons and reflexes, which is not an understanding I really had before. So I had to gain that. And some ways I did that is by doing some Khan Academy videos and YouTube videos and different modules that Vanessa assigned me. The next thing I did was I designed the experiment, like bought the reflex test off of Amazon and like kind of saw who I'm going to which volunteers I'm going to have. And then the next thing I had to do was conduct the experiment using the reflex kit and gather data from all 6 of the study participants. And the next thing I did was I analyzed and interpreted the results and put them into a presentable format. Next slide. Okay, so this is my reflex test, and basically I have it here with me now as well. You have to build it. I'll show in the video. It's called the hand speed challenge, and you take this, which is this part connects to the magnet on the inside. You could also see I'm not really used to doing this without any audio, but I held it at approximately 3 feet because I felt that having the volunteer sit on the floor and catch it, that would be kind of a good height for it. And you press.
Let's play sports together. 3, 2, 1, go.
And it kind of drops the sticks. Sometimes they don't all drop the way I want them to, but okay, next slide, please. Next slide. So here are the results that I collected from the study. So the table shows the number of trials, which was 3. It shows the gender of the volunteers, the distance fallen, which was, as I said earlier, approximately 3 feet, the sticks caught out of 18 total, which was in 3 trials of 6, and the number of hours slept, which ranged from 2 to 6 hours. The next figure shows a graph, which on the x-axis shows the number of hours people slept, and on the y-axis shows the number of sticks caught per subject. And one trend I saw is the 2 highest, which you can see, were the 2 male participants who had already had catching experience with a sport. And the female participants didn't really play the sport, so they didn't really have the experience that they had with this. They had been playing for multiple years. So we were all the female participants. I was the one with the most hours, but I did not catch the most. But we all range in the same area. Next slide, please. So what I concluded from this data was based on the results from this experiment, I found that different parameters can play a role in reflex reaction of test subjects. Although sample size here was small, there was a trend in reaction time of subjects of similar age. Some factors I found may have played a role in reaction time, or the number of sticks caught, of test subjects could be earlier experience of subjects and the gender of the subjects. In the future, I will conduct this experiment in a more controlled setting, such as only testing one age group of subjects and ask them whether they had played a prior sport with catching, such as baseball, cricket, or lacrosse, or softball, for example, or so I could exclude any unrelated subjects to have no outliers in the data. Next slide, please. Another way, because I know I'm not always going to be up here presenting my findings to everyone, so I want to have it in another way that people could see it. So I put together a research paper with the help of my mentor, Vanessa. So I wrote an intro, methods, I wrote figure legends for figures, like results and conclusions, which is something very important because I hadn't done that before. And I feel like that was something very good to learn for me. In a scientific research paper because I wanted to go in STEM field. Next. My magical experience. Some highlights of my experience are I got the opportunity to practice presenting skills and being here today presenting to all of you, which is a really good experience in its own. And designing, conducting a research experiment because through high school and college, I may have to do similar things in science classes, and doing this beforehand, I feel like that's a very good thing to learn. And next is I got to learn about neurons and reflexes. And though reflexes are only a topic in neuroscience, I feel like neurons I would need to have a solid understanding on if I want to go into the field of neurosurgery. A lesson I learned was recording factors may impact results. I realized afterwards I hadn't really taken into consideration who is taking the experiment more seriously than the other person, and had we had a heavy meal. And things like that could definitely have impacted my results rather than just plain reflexes. And another lesson I learned was how to read and write research papers. I may not write research papers as often as I may read them because especially even now in classes, I don't really know how to read research papers, but with the help of magic, I feel like it's better for me to understand different sections of it, how they're really written, which helps me overall. And a challenge that I had was getting into people's schedules and telling them, can you sleep this amount of hours so I can test you tomorrow? And because everyone has their own built-in kind of schedule and it's hard to get in between that. I would like to say thank you to Miss Seema for being the first person in bringing up magic, Miss Ira for finding my mentor and making sure everything was going according to plan, like when we weren't meeting, if everything was okay, and Vanessa for helping me so much during this project. I would not be able to do it without you. Next slide. Thank you. Any questions?
Fantastic job. What questions do we have virtually for Divena?
Hi, Divena. This is Mrs. Seema. So proud of you. Wonderful project. And I'm glad you find a mentor that could help you design this project. And good luck for your future endeavors and, in becoming the neurosurgeon you always wanted to be.
Thank you.
Davina, I had a question about your volunteers. Did you measure, do you conduct your experiment with them at similar times in the day?
I actually conducted not all at once, but probably in a span of if this takes I did 3 trials, so I'd say this took 3 minutes maybe per person. So 3 minutes in between each person. So it was the same time of day. We'd all got together and I was like, I'm gonna test you now. So
Okay.
yeah. So it was the same kind of time of day.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Ira. I wanted to say very nicely followed scientific method and learning so much that your sample size is small. There can be many other variables. You've done a great job under Vanessa's guidance. I was just curious, who's sleeping for 2 hours? Because I only saw 2 to 6 hours. Where are the
It
people
was
who-
actually we were staying up for a game the night before, so everybody was wide awake. It was a big game,
Okay.
so everyone didn't get much sleep other than me. So
I was getting really concerned about people sleeping for class.
that is not normal
Thank you.
sleeping time. Do not worry.
Great.